Hello, I'm Chris with Life is Storytelling, and I recently read East of West, the complete compendium here, End of Times. Let's talk about it. East of West was created by Jonathan Hickman, Nick Dragata, and Frank Martin. And the story does take place in like a dystopian alternate version of the world we live in, and it goes heavily into like politics, religion, and unfortunately, even though this series did wrap up in 2020, it is very poignant in 2026. It is also very like sci-fi western at its core, and that's honestly what drug me into it. It does start you off following Death, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and he is separated from the other horsemen. And those other horsemen being famine, conquest, and war. They're not like gods, but they're definitely not human either. They are killable, but they do have a supernatural aspect to them, as well as like the coloring of the characters, as you see here. And as you'd expect with the compendium being called End of Times, and we have the four horsemen of the apocalypse, this is like the end of the world, or it's supposed to be. We do have this group of people called the Chosen. They're like influential leaders from different nations and whatnot that were handpicked by the three horsemen that remained, not death, as they are supposed to orchestrate the end of the world. And one of these chosen is Mao. She is actually the daughter of someone who was one of the original chosen, and she took up the mantle once she conquered her father and took over her homeland, and she is also the bride of death. They actually have a child together, which is a big part of this story. That son being Babylon. Huge part of the story. He's the whole thing like Death is looking for to get his son, bring him back to his wife, live happily ever after. But of course, as you'd expect, as any good story tells you, it doesn't work out that way. In terms of characters, I also want to shout out Wolf and Crow here. They are a big part of at least your starting party with Death. They are helping him out, helping him traverse the land. And then they end up playing a much bigger part, at least Wolf here does, in terms of what he has to do with the Endless Nation. And also the Endless Nation and their like attachment with technology and just everything there looks awesome. I love the way they look and everything like that. Also going to give a shout out to Archibald here, the president of the Confederacy. Yeah, he's a monster. And the more you get into knowing his character, the worse he is. But he is just, you love to hate him kind of guy until the point where you just really do hate him. But overall, I do think this is an incredible series from the very first page going all the way to the final panel. It's great. It is dark. It is grueling. It does get a bit real with this fantastical element to the story, but I do definitely recommend it. The world building is incredible, and where it does leave off with the message about love and how endearing that can be and how just incredible love is in a world that doesn't necessarily celebrate it as it should be, it's great. I do give this as a 10 out of 10. I recommend it to all comic readers. And for more news, reviews, and all things nerdy, please give us a like and a follow.